It's Easter Monday 2022 and I'm back in my electoral office here in Sutherland after a couple of days with our great Queensland launch for the UAP, which will be broadcast on Channel 10 very shortly. But what I'd like to talk about tonight is another reason why this is the most important election in our nation's history. And just have a look at this statement issued by ATAGI. Now, ATAGI are Australians' Technical Advisory Group on Immunisation. This is another government bureaucracy. Now, what they've actually recommended, and they've actually put this in writing, they have said here, and I couldn't believe it until I actually read it myself. It said vaccines, talking about the COVID vaccines, may also be administered opportunistically while patients are undergoing sedation for unrelated procedures. End quote. I just can't believe those words. I simply cannot believe that this group would talk about vaccinations being administered opportunistically while patients are undergoing sedation for unrelated procedures. Whatever happened to the principles of free and informed consent? What this ATAGI group are actually talking about is a direct violation of the Universal Declaration of Bioethics. Article 6, and I'll quote this article exactly. This is an international treaty that Australia is a signatory to, and it says, again I quote, any preventative, diagnostic and therapeutic medical intervention is only to be carried out with the prior, free and informed consent of the person concerned based on adequate information. How can you weigh that up against this group talking about vaccines being administered opportunistically while patients are undergoing sedation for unrelated procedures? Mr. Morrison and Mr. Albanese, the Labor Party and the Liberal Party will not call this out. This is the type of future that we will get if that Labor and Liberal Party, if you vote for Labor and Liberal, you are voting for, be very clear, you are voting for groups that will allow you to be injected opportunistically while you are undergoing sedation for an unrelated procedure. What, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth booster shot will be administered to you opportunistically? This is why this election is so important. Mr. Albanese will not call this out. Mr. Morrison will not call this out, but I will. This ATAGI group are a bureaucracy completely out of control. They need to pull their horns in. They need to go back to obliging by the international human rights treaties that we are a signatory to. We need to go back to that principle of informed and free consent that so many of our large corporations, Qantas and Woolworths, the number one offenders, mandating these injections upon their employees, a disgrace to everyone on the Qantas and Woolworths board, are human rights abusers, because you are forcing your employees to be injected with a substance you are not giving. It's not free and informed consent if you have to be injected to keep your jobs. But for this group, this ATAGI group, to now say that you can be injected opportunistically while you're under sedation for an unrelated procedure, that just tops it. You've got to vote for the United Australia Party at this election. Otherwise, this is the future that you'll face. And secondly tonight, and before YouTube decide to censor this video, a foreign corporation is censoring the debate during an Australian election campaign, which is a disgrace in itself, just before YouTube decide to censor us. What I'm going to quote from is directly from Queensland Health. I'm going to quote directly from the Queensland Chief Health Officer, Dr. John Gerard. Now, just imagine if with what I said almost 2 years ago, that there was a particular off-patent medicine that could assist in containing the spread of COVID within the community. Or what if I said there was actually off-patent medicine that could assist to respond to the spread of COVID within the community? Well, I said that. And I was banned, I was vilified, I was attacked from pillar to post. But now, let's have a look what the Queensland Chief Health Officer has put out. I'm quoting directly from the Queensland Health's website, published by Queensland Health on the 12th of March 2022. And of course, no media covers this in Australia because our media no longer report the truth. It says, I, John Gerard, Chief Health Officer, reasonably believe it is necessary to give the following direction pursuant to the powers under Section 362B of the Public Health Act to assist in containing or to respond to the spread of COVID within the community. And what he's actually done here, they have revoked the ban on the supply of hydroxychloroquine. They're his words. The prescribing, dispensing or supply of hydroxychloroquine directive effective from 7:35 p.m. on the 7th of April 2020 is revoked from the time of publication. So that previous order would send a Queensland doctor to jail for prescribing hydroxychloroquine. Now we have the Queensland Chief Health Officer himself saying that that ban must be lifted and, to quote his exact words, to assist in containing or to respond to the spread of COVID within the community, end quote. There should be a conga line of apologists from the Liberal and Labor Party and the Australian media that attacked everyone that said exactly what the Queensland Chief Health Officer said 2 years ago. Who knows the totals? We'll never ever be able to measure the pain and suffering and the death that has been caused by these incompetent people that criticised this. But look, congratulations to Dr. Gerard. He has seen that the evidence now is overwhelming. He obviously doesn't want to see himself on the side and go down on the history of the side of those that were involved in the abuse of human rights. Good on you, Dr. Gerard. Good on you for telling the truth. It's about time the rest of the Australian media reports what he said, instead of trying to go on with this continual cover-up that they have. And you can line up that conga line of apologists, starting with Labor's Chris Bowen, to apologise for misleading the Australian community. And how about they come out and say, Chris Bowen, how about you come out and you say, I am sorry, Craig Kelly was right. Because what Craig Kelly said is exactly now what the Queensland Chief Health Officer is saying. But we won't say that. These people are weak, they are insipid, and they all deserve to be kicked out of office at this next election.